Welcome to Percolating Collaboration. This is our first ever Revizto podcast, and I'm so excited to be interviewing you today to share stories about collaboration with the industry. But first up, we want to hear about you. Why Revizto? Why were you so passionate about changing the construction industry? I know how passionate I am about using Revizto and sharing my stories with our global customer base, but I want to hear it from you. Why Revizto?
Okay, I'll deep dive to the very roots of the beginning, and I'll try to actually even realize myself why I started this, because when you're passionate, you never kind of think about it, right? You just get going. So it was back in 2007 when at that time I was head of the business development of the Swiss company that has been developing and deploying a 3D GIS systems, geoinformational, and it was why 3D. It was kind of GIS was pretty known technology, and the innovative part of that company was that they added the 3D aspect to the GIS. So they've been building the GIS on top of the GIS. They've been building the 3D buildings of the cities and with all the layers of information behind it. So that was back at that time. Then, I understood that the metadata and the data behind the models and the buildings are so important because you can take a lot of make a lot of right decisions if you have access to it. So we've been working, the long story short, we've been working with the mayors of the cities because, it's been a very heavy, pretty heavy systems and closed systems because of the security aspects and stuff. By the way, that company have been developed the addressing system of Dubai. At that time, there was no addressing system whatsoever in Dubai. Yeah. So we've
Wasn't most of
created
the
the whole.
world back then?
We
Most
we
of the
hope.
world back then would have been like 2D CAD.
Yeah. But it was the
So you
3D. I mean, in Dubai, it was in 2005 to 2007. We've created the whole 3D GIS system of Dubai with an kind of addressing system, because it used to be always that you were saying the name of the building and then you got to kind of understand where it is located. But anyway, I guess they even, I'm not really sure if they deployed eventually or not and how they've deployed, but that was the whole purpose of creating the 3D GIS system of Dubai and implementing and creating the addressing system for the whole city. So anyways, during that time, we've had a lot of projects with Singapore, China, Dubai, London, Paris. And these are the cities that have been, basically going pretty often and meeting the people in a city development, because this is the tool for city development and the mayors, right? And this is the time when I was seeing and witnessing that these guys have literally nothing from the data perspective. They have their physical maquettes that were showing, yeah, this is the part of the city we're going to be building. And I'm like, how on earth? And I'm not at that time from, kind of construction industry. And I'm like, how on earth you're going to build really well and efficient in showing on a physical maquette, which does not have any dimensions, does not have any real kind of data that you would make you do the right decisions, whether this type of building, that type of building that you would need, what would the recreational zone, so on and so forth. And this is the first kind of strike that, I had in my head, which was kind of boiling and boiling since 2005 to 2007. And I've been kind of, carrying that baby inside of me with understanding what is it, why these people, when at that time also technology has been developing pretty fast, that we are living in a kind of the world of technology that, we're not using any of this industry does not use any of the technology which was already available in order to ease their life and make it efficient. So, and I started to say, okay, what are the hurdles? What are the obstacles? Why they're not doing it? I've been talking to the myriads of architects, the myriads of city architects, planners and stuff. And of course, they were kind of doing on 2D. At that time, there was no BIM whatsoever. It was just the beginning of a BIM, and nobody was really kind of caring about that. And it was all about papers, 2D, drawings and stuff. And I'm like, okay, what is it that you have that cannot be observed by this technology and or any technology that can help and bring your efficiency? So I started dig deep into it and started to kind of understand, okay, the data is pretty heavy. I understand. Okay, what is it that we can do? Because I've been doing the 3D GIS. I've been already thinking with a three-dimensional perspective. So why we're looking on a 2D drawings, if we can do a 3D building and then make the right decision, because human eye sees in 3D. And
Yeah.
if you see it
We
in
live in a
3D and you
3D
look,
world.
we live in a 3D world, and if you show me anything in 3D, you don't have to explain me. And when you're showing me in a 2D drawing, you're gonna say, "Oh, imagine this. These lines are actually the walls." You know what I'm saying? So it's not. That's actually silly to talk about in that format if you have already a 3D and it's been developing pretty fast at those times. If today the keyword everywhere is AI, back in 2000 it was everything was 3D. Even advertisement were saying 3D things and stuff. So it was a kind of a keyword because the 3D was developing pretty fast. And I'm like, why can't we do that? If we do the 3D GIS, why can't we do the 3D in this world? And in 2007 that company actually got acquired, and I was proposed to go as a VP of business development in that company, a new company. I said no, because I had already that idea that I want to bring and disrupt this industry with a new method of communication and showing the data them. And the idea was, because I did some tests and stuff, and I had it in that company that I've been working some 3D guys, and I was kind of telling them, okay, can you take this data and then put into a 3D environment and show me if that would work or not? And I was doing some tests, and I saw that it actually works pretty well if we use a gaming technology. So that was the whole, and I'm sorry to be long, but there was the whole kind
Oh,
of
this is
thing
fascinating.
behind it. Why? And then in 2008, I founded the company. So I didn't accept that proposal, that offer. I basically founded the company with bringing I didn't have any idea what I'm going to do, just a very general idea that I want to bring a gaming technology into the AEC world, and I want to disrupt the way people are communicating. That was the whole idea. I mean, if somebody would say, "Okay, what are you going to do?" I didn't have any business plan. I didn't have anything in my mind. In my mind,
Yes.
it was all about bringing that technology into the world, into this world, and every single kind of step, every single day I've been working within the new company already that I founded, is to figure out and understand what is it. And that's where I started to dig deep into it, BIM, because that was the 2008, and BIM started especially in US, because the business overall we started in the United States. It was all about BIM. Yeah, it was Revit, and it was the time, and you would remember better than me, when Revit and SketchUp industry were thinking, okay, whether it's going to be Revit or SketchUp.
Or SketchUp. Yeah.
SketchUp is going to do a competition to Revit, or it's going to be just Revit, right? And
Yeah.
Autodesk
I
did a
remember
great
people
job
telling me,
kind of promoting, of course, the Revit, because there've been all other authoring tools, and there are a lot of great authoring tools. But that was just kind of a perception. If it's a BIM, then it's a Revit, and SketchUp. And people were saying, okay, we can do in SketchUp because it's very easy to use it stuff. But SketchUp, you gotta actually support the metadata of the buildings, because you don't have any metadata. And it was kind of we were at that phase when industry, and I've been kind of traveling, of course, to Autodesk University shows, to the BIM shows and the AEC shows that have been going on, and talking to a lot of industry people and digging deep into that. So every day, and what we've started to do, we've started to kind of understand that that problem, what we can do. And then the real first business idea was, okay, let's bring this data from Revit and SketchUp. So we've identified two platforms. And then with a click of a button, because people are busy, etc., that we were understanding you don't need to do a lot of stuff. With a click of a button, it would convert your data into a gaming world where you have more user-friendly interface, very fluid and easy to navigate model that you can navigate and see the things that you will not necessarily see those things in a Revit format because of you would see, but other people could not, they simply cannot use Revit to see it. So that was the first kind of thing of which we've done for Revisto that, that just one click button, with a click of a button, it brings your model
Yes.
data and the model itself into the 3D gaming world. And then from that, it started. So.
Awesome. It's good to get that history and that background. And I remember fondly the everybody talking about, BIM's going to be a fad, and things aren't going to change. And Jason, you're crazy. This BIM 3D stuff. Why are we wanting to invest in this? So I'm keen to understand, and I think a lot of our customers in the audience would like to hear a bit more about why gaming technology. Why did you choose the gaming technology over some of the other technologies of that era that were developing 3D models?
It simply absorbs a lot of heavy data, and then it keeps without distortion of that data, and it gives you an ability to effortlessly manipulate the model without, in an intuitive way. Again, we're talking about intuitive way of doing. I mean, generations were coming already who were gamers who understand very well to kind of manipulate. And even in generation of a gamer, even if you would give somebody at that point, we were having already the iPhone versions that coming out, because the first version of Revizto came out in 2010, 11, and in 12 actually in 2012 we've presented in Autodesk University show. This is when people were saying you're crazy. Who needs a gaming technology in AEC world? We're serious people. We don't give a damn about gaming and stuff. I'm like, it's not about gaming. It's about bringing the gaming technology into this world, facilitating the way you guys are communicating, and giving you a platform that can broaden your audience, that having an access into that data. That because broader people are going to be from your project are going to be involved in the communication, more feedback you're going to get, better outcome and result you're going to have. It's all about communication, right communications. So that was kind of me, trying to explain why, I brought that game. But simply from technology perspective, it simply gets have an ability, if you're coding right, brings a lot of data and into it, and then kind of turn into a gaming environment, which is very fluid, and you can manipulate gigabytes of data, massive gigabytes of data, tens of gigabytes, hundreds of gigabytes of data in a very fluid way. That was the only kind of, and the second thing is that don't forget, I came out from outside industry in 2007. I wasn't from construction. I came with the idea. I mean, it's like looking at what you guys are doing in your box, but I'm saying, why can't you bring this and then glue with this, and you're going to have better things. So I had at that time outside box view that I just said, gaming is just not just gaming technology is going to give you a lot of usability, a lot of fluidness, and a lot of power. That was it.
Yeah. And having been a customer prior to joining Revisto for many years, I've witnessed firsthand the power that the gaming technology has actually delivered in real life projects, and fostering those kind of connections and that collaboration with clients, people who aren't necessarily technical, and used to working with complicated BIM tools. Revisto is, simplified and essentially gamified collaboration in the construction sector. So that you're very passionate about collaboration. I am too, but I also know that you're very passionate about coffee.
Yeah.
And we are here Percolating Collaboration. I'm pretty keen to hear a little bit more about your coffee, journey and why you're so passionate about coffee. I've tasted your coffee and it's exceptional, and it would give the best cafes in New Zealand a run for their money.
I just, I'm kind of a person, I would say that if I do something, I do really profoundly. I'm trying to do profoundly well. and I like to kind of dig deep into it. And it was the same with the coffee. So when when a friend of mine actually said, all the coffee you guys are drinking are bullshit. This is the coffee and how you have to drink the coffee. So he showed me, and this is when it all started, and I started to dig deep into it. Okay, what type of machine I should have, what type of grinder I have, what type of beans. That beans are actually cannot be used within a year. You should use within within 6 weeks, 8 weeks max to have the whole flavor and stuff. And I loved it, and I started to do myself, and I kind of fostered into it, and I liked it, and that's one of my passions right now, and I love to make coffee for everyone. In our new Revizto office, I'm gonna also put a professional machine that I have in my house. That anybody who will come to our office, I would be doing some barista work for them.
Do you see a future world where maybe Revizto can help bring good coffee to the world, and maybe there's some Revizto coffee machines on construction sites, energizing
Nah,
people to do more?
I think we're gonna do that with our product. We're not gonna kind of pivot, go do anything else, because we're great in what we're doing in the collaboration and creating and developing the product, and that energy is gonna be given through our features and through our great product.
Yes, yeah. And now that we're almost 20 years on since you first had that kind of vision and that enigma to launch into gamifying construction, what are you thinking about for the future? You mentioned a wee bit about AI. How do you see gaming technology, AI coming together to really change the construction industry? Where do you think it might go in another 5 years?
I mean, it's too early to say right now, because again, there are too many things going on. But I think the part which could potentially be useful for AI would be maybe clash detection part, where if any repetitive clashes or repetitive way of doing clashes are done, could be analyzed and then proposed, suggested. Again, I'm not the way that better than me as a user of Visto, that even the clash detection we haven't created an automated clash detection that does everything for you, because all the projects are different. Yes, we have automated clash detection, but that automated clash detection is tuned by you, tuned by the user, and the power still stays behind the user. And because they know there's so many aspects in a project that could be specific, and they're so important to be encountered. That's why we always give that flexibility, that it's not that you're sitting on a chair and everything, it does everything for you. No, we're giving you a flexibility of doing automated, semi-automated, or 100% manual, and then basically structure the work of yours the way you want to. That would give you more efficiency. So on AI perspective, again, I think what we're going to be witnessing and looking on where we can potentially in the future use, and again, we'll see how it goes. It's only on that part, maybe on different, we'll see. But right now we're in a mode of kind of looking at it, because again, still the construction industry right now, if you're looking at the usage of the product, a lot of companies are still using the basic features, because they're still doing a lot of things in an old way, and they're still changing. It takes time, and we're mostly, our goal really for the next couple of years is enhance the way we're training our users, implementation, the way we're bringing you step by step and type of user. So kind of giving a structure for you to have that journey into Revizto step by step, advancing and taking advantage of Revizto fully. Because if you're just using 10 or 20%, it's great. It gives you a lot of efficiency. But imagine if you're going to do 60, 70, or 80% of the capacity of the product, you'll be a superstar, just like you have been in your
Thank you.
company before coming here. I mean, doing with the same same amount of people, doing double or triple work, because you have that much free time, because you can do that much easier, better, and faster.
And I think that's a really important point that you mentioned around Revisto's not taking away the experience of the practitioners in the industry. It's enhancing the experience. The knowledge that the professionals in the industry have is enhanced. To your point, they're given superpowers by using Revisto to do more with less time and make better decisions with more clarity because the data is centralized and shared so efficiently in the gaming technology. Um, I've witnessed firsthand those kind of unexpected changes that can happen in a project. What kind of unexpected changes have you witnessed over this journey, this amazing journey that you've had with Revisto? What are some of the kind of standout customer stories that you've heard from around the world that have just really kind of blown your mind and really cemented this original vision that you had to change the construction industry?
Well, I'll tell because right now a lot of stories we have, of course, a lot of key things, but I think it'd be valuable to hear the first stories in the beginning when we were just developing Revisto, and it was in 2000, I think 14 or 15, I guess. There was I do remember even the name of the company, Wide Architect Company from Sweden. They've been building a very complex hospital, and they've been using Revisto for that project. And and that's actually, I would say that hearing that story gave me that approve, and I mean it proved me that the vision is the right, and this is exactly what we want to do in every single project, is that enhanced collaboration. So they were sharing and telling us, can you imagine, this is the first time we basically shared the project before construction design phase with the doctors and nurses. And I'm like, why you shared with them? They're like, because yes, we're architect, but we don't know all the aspects of the hospital thing, right? I mean, even though we've been designing, but there are too many things that we don't know. So in early stage of design, we shared that through to our to the doctors and nurses that have been working with us on design phase, that they would give us the feedback, and they didn't even come to our office. We shared, and they open up on their iPads, and they would actually walk through, and we could do even camera sharing, walk through together, talk to them, and then they would kind of say, okay, this is narrow, this should be wide, because the patient cannot be in that environment, so on and so forth. And they're like, we have gained so much from that collaboration in design phase that give us a lot of power and make the project complete and pretty ideal in the end of the day when we launch the construction, so on and so forth. So that was one of the first stories that wowed me when this collaboration happened, not just within industry, but with the people, with the users of the hospital, just before coming that into life. So that was like one of and another one in the early stages when that approved us and proved us that the gaming technology is the right thing, and the industry and the interface we've been coming, and the UI and so on and so forth is the right, is when a company was sharing with us stories when they were in the beginning, their engineers were very hesitant to share to work with, but especially the engineers, over 60 years old or around 60 years old, and eventually when they tried it, they never went back. They loved it, and they were basically it was a bulletproof, because like engineers were always hesitant to take and touch the Revit model, because they were afraid to break it and to do something wrong, and it would mess up the whole project. And they were calling Revisto as bulletproof model, that you cannot break it, because you take it, you manipulate it, you do anything, but you don't break it, and it's so intuitive. So these are very first kind of feedbacks that we've been receiving, and it wowed me. Right now we have a ton of feedback on numerous, of course, usages of Revisto that we can go on and talk about it. But I mean, these are two that actually engraved in my
Yes.
head in the beginning of the journey.
And that's really powerful. Hearing about that story from White Architects and the hospital in Sweden, that resonates with me in my own journey. One of the first projects that I did Revizto on all those years ago was a hospital, and it was using a laptop with a Oculus Gen 1 VR headset, and we were in the room with the clinicians. We were showing them the new design, and they're like, "Why have we got two hand bases? We only ever use one. We don't need the second one. We know it's in the healthcare design standards, but we don't need it." So, just mitigating those simple little things and to make it efficient in the process and not get all the way through to construction where they've put all the pipework in the wall and they've bought the hand basin and then they decide that they don't need it because that's the first time they get to see it. It's so powerful. And again, thank you for bringing Revizto into this world. It's changing the lives of so many people in the construction industry. It's so powerful.
It's
So
truly a
thinking,
teamwork. It's truly a teamwork. It's not just me. It's a hard work of entire team, from developers who are very committed to their work, to customer service people, to you, to our sales guys as well. Everyone is committed to my opinion, in our companies is number one thing is that vision of changing the industry to its best, and then the rest is coming
yeah,
with it.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And now that we're into a new year, what are you looking forward to this year? What's kind of the big number one ticket? There's a number of exciting initiatives on the go at Revizto. What are you looking forward to this year?
Oh, a huge year for us is expected. We are so excited that I'm not going to be able to right now talk what we're bringing, but to announce all the goodies that we're bringing in our RevUp as the second global user conference, which is going to be in Denver in March. So we're excited to kind of announce the things we're going to be bringing with our next release on that event, and bringing again, world from global kind of speakers, number one speakers and number one people, best people from the industry to share their ideas, share their stories without any brackets, because in our event anybody can talk about any product, anything, and any workflows that would enable and make our industry better. So I'm really looking forward to see that crowd a second time and spend some time with them. And another big thing is again it all about the development thing, is what we're going to be bringing in the end of this year, hopefully, and you know that better than me what we're working on. So it's all about development stuff. It's all about great stuff. And another thing that I can talk is what I just mentioned already is I'm excited to see how we're going to change the way we're training our users, change the way we're implementing Revizto and giving a lot of automated tools that we're going to be building and giving to the users and enhancing their path using Revizto in so many different ways. So these are for sure three things which are very excited for me, and I'm really looking forward to see that all during this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year and it's going to be fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of hard work, but collaboration is a lot of fun, particularly
As
when
usual.
you've got a good team.
Yeah, as usual.
I'm just going to have a quick look at to see if there was any other final kind of things.
You know what I want to tell you about the coffee thing? Let me just go back. If you want to do a parallel, on a coffee thing, I would say I'm finding always the best coffee, not just because of it has nothing to do with the price and stuff, but the best from flavors and stuff, and experimenting and doing that, because it's great. In the same time, if you're taking that approach, it actually comes from the approach of the company, because all these years what I've been doing is finding the greatest people in the industry who are committed to what we're committed and bringing into Revizto. So the quality of the people is something that we're committed and have been committed and are going to be committed for years to come, because I truly believe that with the right team and with the quality team, with the right ambience in the team, we're gonna do a lot of good stuff, and which thankfully we managed to do and managed to build that in our company, in our team.
Absolutely, and that's a brilliant way to probably round off our first ever podcast for Revizto. And I cannot think more highly enough of the analogy of having great people, just like having great beans. You get a good product
And finding
at the end
them.
of the day.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very important to find them. It's not just having, but find them and then just and match them, because you can have a great professional, but it's not matching with the culture and nothing. But bringing and finding them, and then every diamond that you found, bring into a team that enhance the team. This is and this is actually my main work, along with the product development and enhancement that I'm very passionate about, as you know.
So not only are you an amazing CEO at Revizto, a top chef, barista, and I think those qualities resonate in your work life as well as in your personal life, and I've seen that firsthand. And again, thank you for stepping up to the plate to be interviewee number one in Percolating Collaboration. We've got an exciting lineup of people that we'll interview throughout the year, and we look forward to sharing more stories from around the world about construction, about collaboration, and it doesn't just necessarily have to center around Revizto either.
My pleasure, Jason, and thank you very much.
Thank you.